Now, a gentleman's card using the double aperture set. So I'm going to use this as a window. Now you can use this piece or you can use the archway as well. Now this is the entire shape if you want to use these. This one here is the slightly smaller. So you've got your larger mat there, your larger archway. This is ever so slightly smaller. The smaller one is good fun because it has a score line down here. Now only this part, this section is a score line. So if you imagine, if you're cutting that, that's then going to be, when you take it out of your die, it's going to then be a doorway that you can open up. Okay, so you can use that. There's lots of options with these dies, so many different combinations. Kathy Cox has said, wow, just tried it. I know, how good is that? Isn't it brilliant? I actually found out during a meeting the other day when someone mentioned it. I said, what? I did not know that. Yeah, go and check that out on the website. Just go and have a look, see if there's an offer or a deal that sort of takes your fancy. But you've also, like I say, you've also got the closing dates on them. So if you know, I don't know, if you know it's payday or whatever on a certain date, you can just see where that offer is going to be running till then. Obviously, everything is while stocks last. Little disclaimer for you. So you've got all of these dies in this set. You've got the arch window. This is the one Sam used for the dog kennel and for the horse stable as well. So great to use that. I'm just going to use the square one. I'm just simply going to do a window in a shed. Now I'm going to use my larger die cutting machine. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one and then the other. So it's going to be a little bit noisy. This is how these windows work. So these thin ones, these thin elements, if you're using these on their own, you can see they stay within your cardstock. They remain within there, which is absolutely brilliant if you want to be cutting directly into a card base. But we're going to cut this out using the outline die just here. Let's see, I think I've got a couple of bits of tape there stuck together. There we go. See this tape? I just use it time and time again. I'm going to have to run this through again. So one more to cut. So I'm taking the outline die. So I've cut the window for the outline die there. And then I've taken just the outline, not the actual window pieces, which is under there. And I'm just going to cut that into a piece of wood grain cardstock. Again, this is Craft Consortium. I must admit, I can't remember the name of that collection, but it was an absolutely beautiful wood grain paper pad. There was a 6x6 and a 12x12. I do have both. Okay, so the idea is this is supposed to look like the inside of a shed. I'm just going to carefully peel off the tape here. When you're peeling off your low tack tape, even if it is a low tack, with any brand, I mean, obviously, Creative is going to be the best, but any brand, when it's new, you're still going to have that risk that it's going to pull off a little bit of paper. Absolutely any brand will do that. One way to reduce that is just to pull it backwards on itself like so, rather than lifting it up, lay it down flat and roll it back. And that way you should come away with a nice clean piece and undamaged paper. So I just gently lift it up. The slower you can go. I know slow with crafting, sometimes we can get a bit impatient to see the results, but it's well worth it. So there's my window. Or my window frame. I'm just going to take a pencil. You'd think a crafter would have more pencils to hand, wouldn't you? And I'm going to just pop line in there. Have you all dropped me a comment about your Jubilee plans, because we will be choosing a winner very, very shortly for this entire collection. So I've just done my window there. Now I have a piece here. This is a piece of copy paper, simple copy paper. I'm going to use my Creative Foam daubers. I believe these are back in stock, by the way, everybody. If you've not got them, 40 finger foam daubers for your inks, your distress inks and such. 20 circles, 20 triangles, and the carry case as well. So they all come together. Another bargain, another Creative product. We really are. I mean, Creative have just been absolutely fantastic lately with the launches and things. So I'm going into Distress Oxide, Salty Ocean, a little bit of torn copy paper. I've used, I know it's a bit bright, I appreciate that. I hope you can see. There we go. I've penciled that square where the window is going to be. And I'm just going to put this at a slight angle and just brush the blue along there, and then move the paper and do it again. let's go along. Let's do a real difference there, a real different angle. And then we can turn this over actually, we can turn this over to get another different angle. And just creating the look, the effect of some clouds that are going to be outside. We're going to be inside the shed looking in. And just by flipping the paper over and twisting it, you get the different effects. Now, again, it's really bright. It's because those lights have come back on. So there we go. We've got the cloud effect there. But let's put then this window. So this window can go back in here, so it can sit perfectly in that circle. And then what I'd like to do is have a planter outside of the shed window. Now, obviously, because we've got the clouds, you're looking out. I'm going to do, I've got a silver here. This is a pink frog cardstock actually, and it's like a satin mirror. It's really, really nice, different silver mirror cards there. Now, I was going to stamp this, but I've already done one. So here's those florals from the stamp set that comes in the window, in the window collection. So I've actually stamped in green rather than stamping in black. I've stamped in a memento green, bamboo leaves. It's got a pink splodge on the label. It doesn't come like that. That's just me being messy. And then I've coloured it in with some alcohol pens. I've just used some nice pastel colours from the Spectrum Noir Illustrator pens. Any pencils, pens, watercolours, whatever you prefer to use is absolutely fine. Then we just need to take the outline die for these. Is it this one? No, of course it's not. It's not going to be the first one I pick out, is it? It's going to be the second one. I don't have the opportunity here to use that technique that I showed you. I haven't already got one of these die cuts, so I will just have to guess at whereabouts the die goes. But do you know what? These are pretty easy to see and line these ones up. So still using that tape. I'm still using little bits of that same tape. I'm going to just trim this down a little bit so it fits through the Made to Surprise little die cutting machine. This one is so handy. So you see I've got my big machine with me today, but just for little pieces like this, it's absolutely perfect. 20 something pound this is, so it's well worth it. As you can see there, I've got my window, I've then got my window box, and I've got my florals. So I just need to glue these in. So you can see I've just popped that onto the outside of the window. I'm going to glue this down with wet glue. I'm not going to be gluing this down with tape because I haven't got acetate behind my windows, so I wouldn't be able to do that. And I've got a nice border around the outside. I've got the clouds showing through there. I'm going to glue around the frame and the flowers, but I'm not going to put any glue on this part of the frame, just in case you want to show that you can open these windows. So pop that back into the wood grain there. I need to actually tuck these underneath. This must go on there, just to stop that clogging up. It must go on there. I just need to find my tweezers, which of course are going to be hiding from me because I need them right now. So instead I'm going to take a pokey tool and just lift up that part of the frame there, and then the same here. I can bend this round, lift that wood up just to tuck the edge of those flowers in. There we go. Pop that in there, so you can open those windows if you want to. I am going to give this even more the look of like a shed, and I'm just going to do which way should we do it? Yeah, let's just go. There we go. Let's do a nice thin cobweb. I know it's not Halloween, but if I do this and then I go over the flowers as well, it's going to look. Should we do a little spider? We need a little spider, don't we? Let's just have one little spider hanging off here. So I've got the cobweb there, so really looking like a shed. And just to accompany that, I've also got Happy Birthday. Now I've stamped it in white embossing powder. This Happy Birthday does come with the sentiment stamps here, so you'll see them there. Wrong way around. 2 individual stamps. Stamped them, and I've just cut them out really very roughly. So I've sort of cut them out, and I've not worried about keeping them straight. I'm just looking for a brown. I'm just not sure if this is quite going to be dark enough, but It's not really dark enough. Do I have a darker brown around it? I've got black soot. That will do. Let's do a little bit of black around the edge. And I'm just going to use my craft tape. Now, again, I've just done that so it looks as if they're bits of wood that have just been, had some paint slapped on them and nailed up onto the side of the shed there. If you have some gardening tools or some pots and such, I think there's actually a fantastic gardening set that comes with one of Olga Directorenko's paper discovery collections. That would work really well to have some gardening tools. Also, Sam has a collection, I want to say Twist and Pot, but I may be wrong, that had some gardening tools with it as well. So there's the shed. You can see the window. It will still open if you want it to. In fact, it will just open on the inside, that's all. But yeah, good fun. So